Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Welcome to Miss Dre, episode 2. I'm the hostess with the mostest. I'm Miss Dre. Look, I know I said I was going to be bringing on some dope people, bringing on some other people, and I will get to that, but today is just me again. God dropped in my spirit. He said that, with the passing of Mother's Day, he wanted me to do a Mother's Day episode. And so I'm like, okay, I can do that. Just trying to be obedient. So here I am, letting him use me and walking by faith. So on my way back home, I traveled to my hometown for Mother's Day weekend to spend some time with my mom, my dad, and my in-laws, my husband's parents. And so on our way back home, back to Atlanta, I got a text from one of my friends. And she asked me what was one phrase that I would give to encourage another mom. So I was like, wow, that's big for another mom to reach out to me. And I'm still at that point where I'm just like, who am I to be giving somebody advice on how to raise a child or whatever the case may be. And so I wasn't sure if this was for her, for a friend of a friend, but I've talked to her several times and our conversation has always been, just straightforward, and I've always talked to her and given her the real. And so that's normally one of my questions I ask her. I'm like, do you want the watered down version or you want it straight? And she's always, give it to me straight. And so when I received that text from her, I was like, okay, now I know I have to give it to her straight, but I also have to be encouraging and, speak from my heart, because as a mom, as a parent, we go through those times when we are second guessing ourselves. We're unsure about things. I mean, just as a person in general, we often have those moments where we just don't feel like we're adequate enough or we're good enough for anything, and for me to give advice for that matter. And I prayed about it and talked to God, and he was like, well, I'm putting you in these arenas. I'm putting you in this space for a reason, not for you to cower down or, whatever. But he wanted me to speak from my heart and use the gifts that he's given me and use the information that he's given me and share it with somebody else. And so I think that's a lot why I started this YouTube channel, to just continue to let the world see God move through me. So I'm continuing to walk by faith and continue to be obedient. And so as I prayed about what my response should be, I thought about what would I want somebody to tell me in the midst of my trials and tribulations, raising a daughter, raising a son. What did my mom need someone to tell them in the midst of raising me and my 3 sisters, raising a hot-headed, smart-added, hot-mouth little girl? What does she need? What type of encouragement did she need to keep from wringing my neck, as she would often say, or keep from, just beat me down but continue to provide the love and the nurturing support that I needed. And my mom worked a lot, so there were a lot of times where I didn't feel like I was getting what I needed at home. And so I used sports as an outlet. So it was like, okay, well, let me go play basketball, let me play softball, and let me cheer, so that way I don't have to be home or feel like I'm missing out on something. So I continued to stay active. And so I thought about what would a mom need to hear in the midst of her going through whatever she was going through, because we often forget that with our struggle, somebody's going through the same thing, or we feel like we're alone in the battle. But having somebody that we can connect with can always be reassuring. It can be motivating. And so I want to make sure that I spoke from my heart and that I encouraged her to stay in the fight, to continue to walk and continue to trust and believe that her decisions, her choices were the best for her child. And so I prayed to God and I was like, okay, so what do you want me to tell this mom to encourage her? And what first came to mind was, you're braver than you believe, you're stronger than you seem, and you're smarter than you think. And so I was like, are you sure that's all? Because she can easily find that online. But what he also told me to tell her was, trust your instincts. And I was like, wow, that goes a little bit deeper than that, just that phrase alone, because oftentimes, like I say, we second guess ourselves, or we feel like we're inadequate. But the word says God has given us all that we need to be successful. And that's successful on a job, successful with our families, success socially, professionally, spiritually. He has given all that we need. And so trusting your instinct is major when it comes to raising your kids. And I often think back to when I was, my daughter was 7 or 8, and we had some people that moved in across the street, and they had a little girl that was the same age as her. And that little girl would come over and play with Ananda, and I would allow Nana to go over there and play, but they mostly stayed outside. And I've always kept that with me, because that's how my mom raised us. Don't be in and out other people's houses. I don't know what they got going on over there, so you stay outside, and most definitely, no, you're not spending the night. And so she didn't play that. And so I brought that along with me, and it's like, okay, she had that rule for a reason. And so I kept that rule with my kids. And it's like, no, you're not spending the night. No, you're not going in and out their house, because I don't want them to be in and out over here tearing up, as back in the day they would say, air conditioning the whole neighborhood. No, we weren't about to do that. And so she continued to beg and beg. Why can't I go over there and stay? It's right across the street. What can happen? And so I'm thinking, you're right across the street. Nothing too bad can happen. And so she was wearing me down. I was getting to the point where I was like, okay, what's wrong with her going over and staying the night? And so I continued to pray about it and think about it. And I was just about to say yes, until one day I had to go to church, and Ananda stayed home with her dad. And right before I came home, they called me and said that there had been a huge fight right across the street. First, the 2 girls had came and fought the 2 daughters that were in high school there. Then after that fight, those girls left and came back with a mob of people, about 10 cars. They had guns over there. They beat up the whole family over there. They beat up the mom, the dad, the brother, the 2 sisters that had been in the first fight, and then Ananda's little friend. She run around there trying not to get hurt. And so Ananda was all, afraid, wanting to go out there to help her friend. And her dad was like, no, you're not going out there, because we don't know, what caused that. But God told me not to let her go over there and spend the night for a reason. And that was me trusting my instinct and trusting my gut. And so I know there are moms out there that, you have this feeling. You hear some people say, well, something told me not to go there. Something told me not to do this, or something told me not to do that. Baby, that was God telling you not to go down that path, because it was danger on the other side. The waters was moving, or the waves were, as they were tarrying, or the waves were rocky on that side. So he was keeping you from danger, seen and unseen. So trust your instinct. Trust what God is instilling in you. He's leading and guiding you away from all the dangers that he knows is set out there. And I know I'm not perfect. I know I'm most definitely not a preacher. I don't know the Bible from end to end, but I do understand when God is telling me that he wants me to move in this direction. And so that's what I'm trying to do. Walk by faith. Be obedient. And so that is my message to a mom, to any mom. Understand that your struggle is not my struggle. My struggle is not your struggle. But we all are going through something, and we have to trust and believe that God has given us everything that we need. Now, when I started the podcast, I did not intend for it to be like this. But God is saying, okay, this is what I want you to do. And so I'm just being obedient. So moms, understand that, of course, it's going to be some hard days. It's going to be rough. You're going to second guess yourself. You're going to wonder where them kids come from because they're getting on your last nerve. But understand that you have the power. You have everything that you need to be successful. Trust what God has given you. You are braver than you believe. You are stronger than you appear and smarter than you think. And one part that I often think about is being strong. I think about Trayvon Martin, his mom, how strong she had to be to endure the loss of her child and continue to go out there and fight for justice for that and for other people. How strong she had to be to stand up in front of a world that was chastising her son and saying that he did something wrong. How strong and how brave she had to be to continue to fight as she is right now. I know my walk, when I'm alone, sometimes I fear certain things, or I feel a little uneasy about something. But when I have my kids around, I get the strength of Hulk Hogan, of what, I feel like I'll die for these two. And so I'm going to fight with the strength, all the strength that I have. So we carry that. We carry that protective sense with us, especially when we have our kids around. So understand that, you are going to get, you're going to have trials and tribulations with raising these kids. But God has not left you. So continue to walk by faith. Continue to trust that you're making the right decision, and that you have all that you need to be successful. Now, I did create something for Mother's Day. I reached out to some family, some friends, and I created this presentation. I hope that you all enjoy it. I hope that it puts a smile on your face like it did me. I really appreciate you all. Those that sent in what I asked for. I know I didn't reach out to everybody. It was a last minute thing. But please charge it to my head, not my heart, because God is just moving me in a different way. So I'm just trying to be obedient to the call. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Episode 2. Continue to follow me, like, share, comment, hit the bell so that you can get notified whenever I post a new episode. Follow me on Instagram, The Real Miss Dre, DAREALMZDREA. I appreciate you. Please enjoy this presentation, and I'll see you next week. Have a good one. Smooches.